capes, and conundrums. I have so many questions, Shadowflight says as she sees the obstacle course. She had been called by the Undaunted and was even being paid a solid 75 credits an hour for her professional opinion. Professional nothing. She's nothing more than a geek with access to a gym. She, as well as 2 others, have been asked to show up on the blimp that had been rented out to the Undaunted. There was a series of 4 doors which each have a different number on them. The sensation of numerous axiom effects going on simultaneously blurs what each one does beyond expanded space on the inside, but there's clearly a lot more at work. Such as why we didn't think of this sooner, Santiago asks. Shadowflight and the other 2 all answer with a no. Dark Scream, a metalworker that had proven herself skilled in a brawl and more than capable of putting together a worthy armored bat suit, was here. As was Ambush Knight, an office worker who had gone on more than one lava serpent hunt as a local guide and had easily converted her older environment suit into a Batman Beyond outfit. It had mostly needed only a paint job. More like, how are we the people you're calling in for this? Ambush Knight asks, and Santiago smirks before he pulls out his communicator and shows a video on the local sharing service. The video is labeled Top-Tier Combat. It's the 3 of them against Deathstroke. Because you 3 are the best we've had so far, and you're our first civilian consultants for testing our testing criteria, Santiago says. We'll be bringing in more, but when it comes to the first 2 levels, you 3 have proven more than skilled enough. So we need to make sure that there isn't something in these easy tests that goes against so near bodily mechanics or mental states. Level 1 and 2. We need to be more or less universally acceptable. 3s and 4s are the hard stuff. So, you're just calling them levels? Darkscream asks. Why not something like Story Mode, Detective Mode, Hero Mode, and Dark Knight Mode? I'll be putting that one down. Ha! I've outsmarted the man who broke the bat. Darkscream teases him, and Santiago rolls his eyes. If I wanted to kill the actual Batman, I'd lay mines at the entrance to the Batcave and bury him alive just inside it. Then I'd use that distraction to make him paranoid enough to run into a contained area where I tell him it's nerve gas. But it's actually aerosolized acid. Then I'd blow up the building and have snipers on standby for when he comes out. You know, by that time, he'd have backup arrive, right? Oh, probably. That's just the startup to say hello. After that, you need to improvise, Santiago states. Speaking of improvise, you 3 are here to find your way through our first obstacle course and give us your feedback. Remember, we need your average preteen to be able to make it through this, but also full-grown adults. This first level is designed just to make sure we're not putting someone with a heart condition into a stressful situation. After that is an open book test about proper procedure, then a fake crime scene you need to survey and come to conclusions about. Is there a penalty for wrong answers? Of course, but it's a really obvious one and you're provided with additional notes. Santiago answers. Any other questions? I've heard rumors about you having another mask you like a lot more. Ambush Knight begins. If all 3 of you pass level 1 and give feedback, I'll show the mask. Do so for level 2 and I'll wear it in character. He promises, and all 3 of them look very interested at that. I'm in, Shadowflight states. Could our prize be a date afterwards? Ambush Knight asks, and Santiago pauses. Tell you what, if you 3 can pass our level 3 and give it some useful feedback. Yes, he offers, and all 3 of them look eager. He then mutters under his breath in a language none of the 3 understand. But the cadence and tone is, what's that called? Spanish? Darkscream asks, and Santiago pinches the bridge of his nose. Yes, I said, entrené durante 6 años para esto? It means I trained 6 years for this? What's wrong? Shadowflight says. My own issues, nothing to worry about. No, you can tell us. Oh, right. You're not just a soldier, you're a first-class soldier, one of the best your species has ever produced, and you have nothing to do. Ambush Knight realizes, and Santiago nods. I may not like the character, but playing as Bane is the first bit of proper action I've had despite spending years getting ready, Santiago says. It's not a bad thing, just strange. We're ready in case of anything, and there was so very little to be afraid of. So, you have too much energy and need to burn it off. That sounds more tempting than anything, Shadowflight says with a smirk. Impress me, he says, and all three of them look eager. All right. We will... Wait, we're getting paid to do this, and there's a prize? The actual prizes for passing the courses aren't in yet, so yes, I'll make myself the prize. What are the normal ones? Themed investigative journals for Level 1. Level 2 is going to get decorative masks, the style where they conceal around the eyes which the Robins and Nightwing use. Level 3 is going to be a low-power grappler gun, and Level 4 is to be determined. We're still brainstorming that one. Not sure what to offer. It depends on what the test is. Shadowflight muses out loud. Right. Level 4 involves active guards and is a stealth test with a proper spar and some weapons training at the end, so it's a little harder to do at the drop of a hat. Oh, well, a non-lethal weapon would work. There are very few weapons that qualify as non-lethal. None in my hands, including my empty hands. Okay, turn down the bored super soldier routine. It's interesting, but you're wearing it thin, Darkscream says, and Santiago smirks in amusement. Very well. This way, please, he says, and he walks over to open door number 1. Inside is a simple obstacle course followed by a series of desks with a book and some testing papers and writing materials at each one. A curtained-off section is after that. That's it, Ambush Knight asks as she looks over the course. This is Level 1. It's more about making sure you're not going to hurt yourself or damage the scenes of the crime. Santiago answers as he starts casually walking the course. 4 steps up, 4 down, and then across a balance beam wide enough that he just has to adjust his steps a little. The only balancing he does is to throw up air quotes at scenes of the crime. It's nice and simple and casual. So first some basic steps, then balance, then a very basic zip line. He says going down the line, his voice loud enough to echo, so even as he walks away from them, he's easily heard. Then up a small tire climb and down a slide before walking over a slightly swaying bridge. Very basic, very easy. Did we miss anything? Shadowflight considers. What's that? Please walk up to me and give the answer. Santiago calls back, and there's a huff of amusement from the Soneer. Oh, is that the way you're playing? Fine, she says before she races up the stairs, over the balance beam, slips down the zip line, shoots up the climbing wall, and doesn't even seem to notice the wobbling bridge. I think a very small child might struggle with that. Some steps for a goby or cobe might be needed at the zip line, though. I knew something was missing. Damn. We'll get a second one installed for smaller races, and one for larger ones. A Canador could easily walk over this course, Santiago mutters as he quickly types things down in his communicator. You know, this is more like a child's play park than an obstacle course, Ambush Knight says as she finishes up. Hang on, I want to do that again, Darkscream says as she finishes and rushes back to the beginning. She actually runs it a total of 3 times before she's done. Okay, so Shadowflight has brought up the very real concern that this course is not sized properly for smaller races, and that also means it's not sized properly for larger ones either. Now, aside from accommodation for larger and smaller races, what else does the course need? Remember, this is bare bones basic. Anyone off the street should be able to run it if they're in good health, Santiago asks. More padding. Look at this place. If they fall, they hit hard floor and will hurt themselves, Darkscream says. I'm fine, but if someone's having an off day, they could slip and hurt themselves. Actually, that's already covered. We're using technology patented by the owners of Defenestration Nation, an outdoor entertainment conglomeration. There's an axiom effect imbued into the floor and equipment here that prevents inertia-based harm. I'm not familiar with it, Darkscream says. Basically, the whole area is padded. Observe, Santiago says before pocketing his communicator and jumping up to dive headfirst into the floor. There is a clang, and for a moment he's standing on his head before balance has him fall onto his face. He then rises up with an amused expression at all three so near, looking worried. I'm not hurt. The only way to hurt someone with this equipment or the walls and floor is to slowly crush them against it. No amount of hitting it will damage anything or anyone. Then, with barely more than a glance towards each other, all three women dive face first onto the floor, and Santiago takes a step back in surprise. As they rise back up again with smiles on their faces, he finds himself wanting to ask about 18 different things at once, and like the Three Stooges, they all want out at once and get in each other's way. Why? There we go. The traffic jam has been resolved. Several reasons, Shadowflight says with a grin. Would you be so kind as to share one with me? He asks in a formal but still flabbergasted tone. The look on your face is a good one, Ambush Knight says, and Santiago groans into his hand at that. This only prompts amusement from the three, and he indicates the desks and writing implements. Please, just continue the test. All right, but we'll be seeing that mask soon enough, Shadowflight says, and she more or less leads the other two to the desks. Ya se están resolviendo solos. Estaría en problemas si no estuviera tentado, Santiago mutters to himself. He gets glanced back at and grins. No translation this time. Oh, come on, Darkscream protests. Want to know what I'm saying? Learn some Spanish, he teases. He's distracting us. We have to hurry, Shadowflight says. There's no time limit, Santiago contests. There should be. Ambush Knight notes as she fills in a few answers. This is level 1. It's less. Are you ready for battle? And more. Do you need to go to the hospital? Santiago states. Why do we even need this level? Ambush Knight asks. Because during several of our investigations, we've had over-eager women ruining the scene. The obstacle course is more a formality. The important part is what you're doing now. There's a failure condition in destroying evidence at the crime scene, but at level 1, it's all clearly labeled, Santiago explains. Which is something it says here, Shadowflight says, holding up her study guide. By the way, are these ones stay here, but in the future, they will be part of what you walk away with. The pen, a blank notebook, and a book on proper procedure will be the total prize for level 1. Trying to make it more about puzzle solving? Oh, don't let the action scenes and good fight choreography fool you. Batman is a detective. His every mission is a puzzle to solve. Sometimes the puzzle is how to get around unnoticed. Other times it's who did what, where did they do it, and why. But unless he's in a straight-up brawl or chase, it's all detective work and brain power, Robin says, walking in. Boy wonder, Santiago teases him. Watch it, druggy. There's no venom here for a fix. Robin counters easily. So how are they doing? We're going to need 3 of each course. We have to accommodate smaller races and larger ones. We need one a Gosby, Kobe, or the smaller Ikea can run, and one for things like Canador or Agella, Santiago says, and Robin nods. Right. It's already down, but the course itself, the challenge it presents. Seems fine? And your new hobby of diving onto the floor? Robin asks with a grin. I was showing them that we have safeties. And the fact they did it right after wasn't some weird sort of flirting? Robin asks. And Santiago slowly turns to look right him with an unimpressed expression. Done, Darkscream says. Then she considers the book again. How soon will you have more of these? They're like half police procedure and half who's who for Batman villains. About a week, Robin answers. Now, if you really are done, then please make your way to the crime scene. There's a computer in the room just past it where you type in everything you observed and try and solve the case. What kind of case is it? Darkscream asks. Murder, Robin says, over-emphasizing the whole word. Did you have to say it like that? Santiago asks. Yes, I did, Robin answers.